Good day peeps, my name is Scripps and welcome back to the second and final part of You Look Fine. I'm sorry, but this is all pre-recorded and I was actually originally thinking that I was gonna record the whole thing in one long stretch, but I ended up splitting it up in two, which is why I'm doing this sort of out of nowhere, not really recorded at the same time intro. Sorry about that, but to give you a quick recap, then basically in the last episode we found out that this girl has gotten very sick with something, although we don't know what it is, and she's already been to several doctors, several very horrible doctors, and it ended off pissing me off so bad. So at the point that this game is actually recording, I am pretty deep in the emotional state already, but you'll get to see more of that later on. But anyways, back to Scripts in the past. See, I'm scared of clicking no because I think that would just mean that you're going like into yourself. But you have to, I mean, despite everything, she's still the strongest advocate. She might be the only one on your side at all. She's fighting so hard for you that it makes you determined to keep going. Another doctor it is. Please, a psychologist! Or something. Auditions for the school play are tomorrow. You haven't had much time to prepare, but there are some strong monologues you still have memorized from last time. Hamilton? Nice. Pull out the script and start flipping through it until you find a chunk of text that works for this audition. Then you get back to work. Hours later, you lay on your bed, having memorized and practiced your audition to your heart's content. You proudly set your alarm and climb into bed, ready for tomorrow. The next day. Why the slow fade out? Ray! Your eyes open to find your cheek sitting in your breakfast. Huh? What happened? Well, I'm not an expert, but I believe you fell asleep in your breakfast. Huh? You rise out of your chair and wipe some of the breakfast off your face. Mom is watching you carefully, even walking to the sink tires you out. You lean against the counter and try to rub some of the sleep from your eyes. Honey, I really don't think you should be going to school today. Auditions. I know, it's your choice. She's right. You know she's right, but it doesn't hurt any less. You can barely function this morning. There's no way you're gonna make it to this afternoon. Okay. Several weeks? Especially infectious disease, doctor! Doesn't even have the decency to talk to your face. He talks over your head directly to Mom, showing her a series of laminated sheets. Rude. Mom notices your sour expressions. So Ray, what do you think of all this? Dr. Lisa says her coat, turns and gives you an obviously forced smile. Oh, you don't have to worry about the fine details. I'm sure they'll go over her head anyway. You sit there taken aback as Dr. Lee turns back to Mom. Excuse me? I may be a kid, but I'm not stupid. You sit there fuming while Mom smiles and nods at the doctor. Dr. Lee thinks you probably have something, but not an infectious disease. They could have told you that one, genius. Despite the lack of an infectious disease, she writes you an official doctor's note to excuse you for the amount of school you've been missing. The second appointment is over, you beeline out the door. I've actually done that before. Like, actually straight up run or leave a psychiatrist's room out of anger. Probably something that I should go into one day. Go away. Neither of you are happy about the appointment you just had or the money you spent. You look at the note in your hands, an official excuse to be missing in class. The note reads Infectious Disease Clinic in bold black letters at the top. It looks intimidating, but you suppose it's effective enough. After missing so much school, you need something to show administration so you don't get expelled. Mom looks at you. You look back at Mom. She squeezes your hand tightly, but her eyes are less bright than they were before. She would never show it, but the constant barrage of doctors is taking a toll on her as well. You can only be treated like a science experiment for so long before you snap. It just seems like no matter how hard you try, there are 1,000 things in the way of finding answers. You just wish things could go back to normal. That you could leave behind the world of doctors and appointments for good. You're just so tired. Mom drops you off at school to turn in your doctor's note. It feels like years since you've been here. You wish you were back for good. After dropping you off the doctor's note in the front office, you head in the hallway to see if you can find any of your friends. Lo and behold, Sadie's standing right there at her locker, loading books into her bag. Casually say hi. You walk up to the locker, trying not to shock her too much. You put on a soft smile. Hi. Sadie turns and breaks into a smile too. Hey stranger. It's been a minute, hasn't it? She slings her backpack over her shoulder and pulls you into a hug. I was worried you were never gonna come back. Oh shit, people are writing me. I was worried you were never gonna come back and you would just fade into the background, never to be seen again. Which made me wonder what would happen to your locker. Would they auction it off like the Storage Wars? Or does it go to the next of kin? You laugh at her bemused face. Man, she hasn't changed. Fuck off! She hasn't changed at all. Good. It all goes to my parents, duh. Although you could probably steal some of the stuff before they got it. I know how much you want my watercolor pencils. I would never! Unless you're offering, in which case I would definitely take those off your hands. You both burst into giggles. So now that you're back, and we have some catching up to do, you have to hear the hot gossip that Mackenzie's dishing. Your smile falls. Actually, I'm only stopping by for today. I got a doctor's note to excuse how much school I've been missing. Sadie deflates. Oh, I just thought... No, it's fine. You take all the time you need, but... What is it? You haven't actually told me what you have. Is it contagious? Is that why you're spending so much time away from school? You don't really want to explain everything to another person, but Sadie's your friend. She means well. You launch into a summary of your life since the beginning of fall, the sleeping, the doctor, the pills, the endless number of tests, how discouraging it all is, how you wish you just had an answer. She nods along without saying anything. Actually, I have an appointment with a doctor that specializes in hormones. They think that might help. Might? Well, yeah. I don't know, I'm just skeptical that anything will help. You have to keep going. Maybe it's your diet. When I don't eat enough, I feel tired. See, okay. This is a thing. People who are going through stuff like this. People who are going through stuff like this, and people give you suggestions like this. People give you suggestions where you've tried it a billion times. People say stuff like, why don't you eat? Maybe you should eat more. Maybe that would help. Try not to lash out with hostility. Or try not to lash out at them, because I bet in a lot of cases they do mean your absolute best. Maybe they're a little short-sighted and maybe they're a little naive about how easy life is. But in a lot of cases they mean well. So try to be more patient with those people who might not exactly relate to your situation. That's not really... Or maybe you aren't exercising enough. My mom says young people like us need to run around and tire ourselves out in order to get a good night's rest. Well, drinking water can help the body wake up and be ready for the day. I read that in a self-help guide. You read self-help guides? No. At least it didn't used to. After you stopped coming to school I wanted to help, so I read up on some stuff. Oh, that's so nice. I got a book from the library called 1001, Diseases You Could Have and Not Know. She pulls out a textbook from her backpack and shoves it in your hands. It's pretty hefty to carry around, just in case you saw each other. You can tell that she put a lot of effort into you, but this isn't really what you wanted to hear after the onslaught of doctors you just visited. Sadie shovels her weight back and forth. She obviously wants to say something, but is clearly uncomfortable. Actually, have you heard of psychosomatic symptoms? Your heart drops. Yes, you have. It's basically when you think you're sick, but actually it's all in your head and... Excuse me? I'm not saying that's what you have, but you've been to all these doctors and they don't know what's wrong. Doctors are smart and they should know. Yes, they should know things! Oh my god, you've been let down, girl. I'm so sorry. Right, they should. What if you aren't actually sick? Okay, you know... Okay, see, this is exactly a proof of example. Just give them... Be patient. Bite it into you. Don't repulse them for coming up with ideas. It's hard. I know it is. What if you aren't actually sick? Then you just need to think positive until you get better and things can go back to normal. If only it was that easy. You stare at Sadie, almost in shock. Think positive? Are you serious? What? Do you think I'm making this up? Do you not believe me too? I do, but I don't know. I just don't see how you can say you're sick and yet stand here and... What? It looks like you're fine. The words hanging in the air for a moment. Tears sting in your eyes. Okay, that is not okay. That is... Okay, that is not okay. Even my patience ran out there. That is not okay. If someone you know is going through something and then you just automatically assume that it's just in their head, that's just mean. You stare at her for a few seconds before you turn around, walk down the hall, and exit the school. Maybe she should have given some more situational examples like, I fell asleep at the table and I can't walk to the sink anymore. I seem fine? How could she say that after I spilled my heart out onto her and let her know what I've been going through? How could she still think that everything is fine? Yeah, that is several days later. I hope I'm not going for a bad ending here. You're at another doctor's appointment with Mom. Visiting school took a lot of energy out of you, and this isn't helping. You feel miserable. You've been sitting in this room for a couple of minutes, but honestly all the offices are just starting to blend together. I mean, for me too, it's the same background. This lady is an endocrinologist, a hormone doctor. Dr. Jones gave you a referral after your blood results were negative for Lyme disease. Surprise, surprise. The doctor enters the room with a flourish, her red cowboy boots flashing and her dress twirling. You look at her in awe. She sits down and faces you and your mom, smiling brightly. She extends her hand out to you. Hello, my name is Julie. What can I call you? You shake her hand, a bit taken aback by the friendliness. I'm Ray. I'm sick, but I'm not happy about it. That's why I'm here. Dr. Julie laughs heartedly. You can't help but smile too. Well, your funny bone certainly isn't damaged. Let's start at the beginning and try to get a grasp on what's going on. Well, we believe it started at the beginning of this year with... Mom, could I hear this part from Ray? It might help me understand a bit better. See, this is a doctor! You look at her for a second before launching into your own story, eager for her advice, opinions. She looks at you, really looks at you, like you're a person, not just some test subject. She listens to your story earnestly. When she has ideas and questions, she doesn't overstep her boundaries. It feels like you're involved in the process, like you have a seat at the table. Okay, I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves, but I have an idea. I have your blood tests from Dr. Jones, and they show high levels of a hormone called cortisol. Do you know what that is? You nod. Yes, you've heard of this before. Dr. Julie continues to explain how some of your symptoms and aspect of your story are typical of a certain illness, one that seems very familiar. These symptoms line up perfectly with something we call Cushing's syndrome. Based on your blood test, I believe that you may have an adrenal tumor on the pituitary gland that is affecting your hormones. A tumor? Dr. Julie smiles and places a comforting hand on your shoulder. I understand that this seems pretty scary, but an MRI will... No, it's not that. It really wasn't. You couldn't really describe it, but you were almost... happy? Oh, see that? I can absolutely relate to that. Cushing syndrome. Is it treatable? Well, we should confirm that it is what you actually have first, but with treatment it has been found to be completely reversible. You turn to Mom, who's smiling softly at your side. You hug her, and she holds you close as tears threaten to fall from your eyes. Thank you. Dr. Julie walks with you and your mom as you head to the MRI. Hopefully this will be the last of these exploratory tests. Cushing syndrome, that's why it was so... There's so many things you can have in your brain. Or anywhere, it's just don't ever think you can generalize it. The sun's going down. As you open your eyes for the first time today, it's almost peaceful outside your window as you lie in bed. There's a soft knock on the door and Mom opens it slowly. Sweetie? You sit up out of bed. Her voice is soft. She strokes your hair and sighs. Dr. Julie's office just called with some news about the MRI. Oh. I know we both really wanted Dr. Julie to be right. Oh, fuck. No. I'm sorry, but the scans came back negative for any tumor of any sort. Oh, fuck. You feel numb. Like the world just dropped out from under you and you're still floating. You know you're supposed to feel happy. You know you're supposed to be relieved, but in your mind, this was your solution. This was your answer. This is going to be the end of seeing all these doctors and getting all these tests done. The end of being poked and prodded, of being treated like a science experiment, of being less than human. But after everything, after all hope you got from Dr. Julie, it's just another dead end. This isn't fair. This isn't how it's supposed to be. I'm a teenager. I should be enjoying life, going to school, and getting in trouble for coming home late. That's what everyone else gets to do. That's what they get to do on TV. Why can't this just end? Mom leans in to comfort you, but you don't respond. Instead, you stare straight ahead, tears streaming down your face. She gives you some space. Sweetheart, just don't, okay? I hate this. I hate all of this. I just want to go to school and see my friends. I just want to be a normal kid. I just want this all to be over. Mom reaches out in comfort. Please, I want to be alone. She nods in understanding and rises, but before she leaves, she turns back. We're going to have to stop going to doctors for a little while. We don't have enough money to see anyone else, but I promise we're gonna figure out what this is. Fuck, man. She shuts the door behind her and you curl into a ball underneath the blankets, letting your sobs overtake your body. You cry until you're absolutely exhausted and you can't even move. You just can't. Jesus Christ, man! Oh! Thank God, that's... Oh no, it continues. I was about to say if that continued any longer, I might just cry. You wake up in your bedroom. It's just another Monday. Get up. That's not possible. Still Monday. You try, but... You wake up again, it's still Monday, you think. You fall back to sleep. Ray, get up. We're not gonna be late today. You grumble as you get out of bed and change into some clothes. Mom hauls you into the car and takes you to school. It's fall semester again. It's been 1 year since this all began, and despite being back at school semi-regularly, you still feel like you're always missing class to catch up on sleep. Not to mention you're still tired all the time. You fall asleep in a couple of your classes, but you end up making it through the entire school day. Despite taking several naps, you're still exhausted. You haven't seen Sadie since the summer ended. You're not sure how you want to open that bag of worms right now. You don't have the energy to deal with her today. Your phone vibrates in your pocket. It's a text from Mom. She's out front to pick you up for another doctor's appointment. Right. It's your first appointment in a while actually, but you got a strong recommendation from one of your previous doctors. Maybe this time it'll be worth the cost. Grab your backpack and head down to the main office. Jesus. By the end of last year, your family was too broke to see any more doctors, and that's not even considering the emotional cost of it all. But after a summer of no doctor's visits, your family has saved up enough money and paid enough bills to start looking into solutions again. The doctor comes in. Her coat reads Dr. Shipley. Funny, it sounds like a sci-fi captain's name. Mom launches into an explanation. Dr. Shipley, like the rest of the doctors, listens to spiel. She, like all the rest of the doctors, nods her head. It sounds like you'll benefit from sleep study, although it could be something else. Let's get you scheduled for one. You sigh heavily, but make the appointment nonetheless. You schedule it for next week in the sleep lab at the hospital. At least this test will be harder to fail, given how great I am at falling asleep. Oh my god, when is this gonna end? This is so fucking tough. Mom drags you to the sleep center for your sleep study. You've never stayed overnight at a hospital before, but this place is different than you expected. It's kind of cozy, with a lot of closed off rooms. After getting checked in, you're shown to your room. The sleep tech attaches what seems to be electrodes to your head, chest and legs. Sorry, just got a drink. He also puts 2 elastic bands around your chest to monitor your breathing. Mom looks down at you. You look like a robot. You snicker. She kisses you on the head. I'll be back this morning. Sleep tight. Please, something. You crawl under the covers, the lights are off. The sleep tech talks to you over the intercom. He asks you to close your eyes, look up, look down, look side to side, checking to see if the monitoring equipment is working properly. Okay, we're all set. Shout if you need anything. You fade into sleep. Despite having numerous cords attached to you, you just sleep fine. Once you wake up, the sleep tech helps take some of the electrodes off, but not all of them. It's time for nap tests. We'll have you try to fall asleep for 30 minutes every few hours. Once the nap tests are done, you'll be free to go. You do the first 2 nap tests and fall asleep easily. Seems like you're passing. I could hear your stomach grumbling from the other room. How about I order some food from the hospital's cafeteria? You nod. That sounds pretty good. Mac and cheese. Your food arrives at the lab and you take a break to chow down. Not the finest meal I've had. I wish Mom had packed me something. Time to get back to taking naps. This isn't actually as bad as you thought it would be. Oh, well, yeah, it's sleeping. Although I would be horrible at that. The reason I'm also not talking a lot anymore is because this is an hour long, and that really surprises me. You finish up the rest of the nap test. Finally, it's time to go home. Sleep tech takes the rest of the electrodes off your head and releases you from the elastic bands. Mom has been waiting for you outside. She gives you a hug. How'd it go? Did you sleep okay? Tell her about the food. Lunch was terrible. The mac and cheese really can't compare to your ham sandwiches. Please tell me we're having something tasty for dinner. Mom smiles. We can. What are you in the mood for? Spices. Literally any spice or flavor whatsoever will be an improvement. Tikka masala? Perfect. I'll even take leftovers if we have any. The 2 of you head out the door and home without another word of the study. That's sometimes just the best thing to do. Not talk about just not focus on that all the time. You finally get a letter in the mail and a phone call from the sleep doctor. Mom talked with her on the phone for a while, but you've come to see her in person. No doubt you're just waiting to get informed about yet another dead end. So we got the results back from your sleep study. I understand you've been looking for answers for quite some time, yes? You give her a weak nod. She hands you a packet of papers. It has a chart with numbers you don't understand. Well, after reviewing the test results, I feel confident that your symptoms are tied to a condition you may have heard of before. It seems like you have narcolepsy. Really? You look up at her and stare in disbelief. Wait. It's been so long since all this madness began. Is this it? Are you here? Do you finally have your answer? But narcolepsy isn't right. I've seen on TV that people just fall over all the time, usually for comedic effect. A few years ago, someone dressed up as a narcolepsy man for Halloween. It was pretty funny to see him just kneel over and snore. That's not what I have. Narcolepsy affects the brain's ability to regulate sleeping and waking cycles, which is characterized by excessive sleepiness during the day and falling asleep for short spurts at a time. Sleep doesn't really do the job that it should be doing, so you wake up less rested than you should. You nod. What she's saying is actually making a lot of sense. Also, your storyline matches up with many that we get here at the sleep center. Most patients present symptoms between ages 10 and 20, often visit many physicians before receiving a diagnosis, if they ever do so at all. With proper resource management and follow-ups, it is absolutely possible to live a full life with this condition. Tears come from your eyes and you feel lighter. Almost. This thing you've been living with, the silent monster, it finally has a name. That is such a huge thing. That it has a name. Instead of shrugging when people ask you what's wrong, you finally have a real answer. Mom gives you a hug. She's crying too. You thank the doctor and schedule another appointment for a more in-depth session later on. You and Mom are quiet on the car ride home. Her entire demeanor has relaxed, and you can see her relief. It's been a long couple of years for the both of you. Still, after the initial happiness of the diagnosis, a somber feeling has settled within you. You haven't said much since leaving the office. What's up? Be honest. I feel like I'm supposed to be happy about this, but I'm just not. Mom looks over at you, egging you on to say a little more. I don't know. I thought having a diagnosis would help. And it does help a little bit, but now we have to deal with the aftermath. You sigh heavily. Speak freely. I have to deal with this. You've just been along for the ride. Mom looks taken aback by the response but doesn't say anything. Alright, I know these past months have been hard on you, but I really am trying my best. It hasn't been easy on me either. Say nothing. You bite your tongue and let her speak. It's been heart-wrenching watching you change from the happy boisterous girl you were to the worn down person you are now. What these past months done to you, no young person should have to go through that, but that's no excuse to stop trying. Tears threaten to spill from your eyes and your hands shake. I'm not stupid, Mom. I know what managing a disease means. It means not curable. I'm gonna have to live like this forever. If there isn't any hope of getting better, why should I try at all? Mom pulls the car over to the side of the road, turning off the car so that she can look at you head on. Ray Kim, what problems do you see in the world? What? Come on, it's not that hard a question, is it? Name a problem that you can see. Kind of a vague question, but you ponder nonetheless. There's inequality, of course, wars overseas, but there's also a corner store stopped stocking strawberry milk over the summer, which was a real bummer. Then there's everything you and Mom saw, doctors that didn't take you seriously or lack of understanding from people about what you were experiencing. It hurts your heart to think of those things. Empathy, people don't relate to things they don't understand. Okay, who's gonna solve that problem? Again, you're at a loss for words. Because the way I see it, if you see a problem and no one is there to fix it, isn't it on you to take the first step? You stop and think about that for a second. Did you get that off of a Facebook post? Ray, I'm being serious. You need to have a goal to work towards in order to keep going. Having a positive outlook on things is easy when life is going well, but sometimes life just sucks. When situations are out of control, you can either wallow in your own thoughts, or you can control what you can, your outlook. But if you give up, there is no way for them to ever get any better. I don't want to lose my daughter to some condition she may have. I want you to find a way to be happy despite it. That's all I've ever wanted for you. You can't help it anymore and spring forward to hug your mom. You cry into her shoulder as she pats your head. You both sit there for a little bit until you calm back down. Your father and I are here for you, and we always will be. You just can't give up hope on living a good life. You nod in her arms. You understand what you need to do now. It's Tuesday. Sadie's down the hall walking towards you, but she hasn't looked up from her phone yet. It's now or never. Sadie! She looks up at you and sees you smiling. She can't help but smile back. Ray! Long time no see. Are you visiting again? No. I'm actually back. For real this time. You're all better now? No. Your smile falters just a moment. No. I got a real diagnosis though. I think this one's legit too. You both stand there, looking at each other. It's been months since everything went down between the two of you, and you aren't quite sure what to say at this point. Look, I'm sorry I've been kinda distant. Everything has just kept piling up and I didn't know what to do with myself. But you actually tried to reach out when no one else seemed to care. I should have been a better friend to you. You shift your weight and take a deep breath. I was wondering, do you want to come over and write with me after school today? Sadie smiles, but there's something behind her eyes that upset you. It's pretty obvious how much your fight hurt her. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Sure, I would love to come over. What are you working on these days? You laugh nervously, silently breathing a sigh of relief. I actually haven't touched my source in this last year, so there's that. Gosh, that seems like a lifetime ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. I've been writing a lot since you've been gone. This summer I just finished the first draft on that novel that I've been working on. Sadie, that's amazing. Sadie's bright face shines back to you. Thanks. You know, I am actually in need of a proofreader. The members of the writing club are not the best help when it comes to sentence structure, but that's expected when your club is 90% freshmen. Oh wait, writing club? Yeah, I kinda started it last year after winter break. We only have a couple of members, but there's this one girl, Alyssa. I think you'd really like her. You giggle at Sadie's shyness, but it's obvious she's really proud of the club. You never would have guessed that she would start one on her own. Then again, it has been a whole year since you really hung out together. Maybe you weren't the only one to change. Well, if you happen to be accepting new members... Are you kidding? Of course you can join, but I have to warn you, it does conflict with the drama club. That's alright, I always did like watching theater more than doing it. The two of you laugh and chat all the way to her house. Turns out there is a lot to catch up on. Is that it? Epilogue. Oh my god! Oh fuck! This is so long! You girls have a good time and stay safe. Remember, if anyone makes you uncomfortable, you have my permission to punch them in the face. That is fantastic. Thanks, Mom. And if anyone touches you... Thanks, Mom! Okay. Have fun. I packed you both ham sandwiches in case you got hungry. So you guys 3rd graders or 2nd grade... You're high school students, right? Really? You made ham sandwiches again? It went over so well at the potluck. How could I not? I'll be back to pick you up at 4. Oh, that's a good mom. You and Sadie wave goodbye to Mom as she drives off. It's been a few months since you and Sadie reconnected, and the two of you have settled into a comfortable friendship once again. It's a little different from before, but just as loving. Sadie was the one to bring up going to the anime convention that's held downtown every year. You never had the guts to go before, but after everything that's happened over the past few years, you decided it was time to step out of your comfort zone. Alright, the Super Space Sailors voice actors have a panel at 2:15. Until then, we can take a look at the show floor. Aye, Captain Itami, I'll set course. Thank you, Mrs. Starling. You and Sadie set off through the aisles of the show floor. Vendors crowd the exhibit hall with all sorts of merchandise, plushies, clothes, art book, you name it. Plus there are cosplayers everywhere. Whoa, what are all these people crowding around over there? I think that's the artist who draws dark and gritty things on gritty takes on things that definitely don't need to be dark and gritty. That seems interesting. Sure, but you can only see so many teddy bear homicide detectives before it gets old. I'll take your word on that one, Sades. You and Sadie laugh, hoping he didn't hear you criticize his work. So how goes the new medication? It seems like it may be working, but it's too early to say for sure. I'm just glad this one doesn't make me feel so jittery. Sadie nods along. You remember talking her ear off non-stop when you tried the last medication. It was supposed to keep you awake during the day, but instead it made your heart race and your whole body feel twitchy. Medication management has been its own journey as well. You've lost count on how many numbers of meds you've tried. As of yet, you have not found a perfect balance between treatments and side effects. Hey, wanna take a tour down Artist Alley? Aw. The two of you take a hard left and head down the path of posters and prints that line the way. An interesting piece of art catches your eye, hanging on the wall at one of the booths. Hey Sadie, wait up a second. You talk with the artist, she pulls a poster down off the wall. Sadie gives you a bit of a side-eye glance. You hold the piece in your hands. It's a picture of a cello, but the background is made up of playbills from various musicals. It seems like it's made for you. Wow. Seems abstract, although the use of color is très magnifique. You smile at her lame attempt to be bilingual. I like it. Definitely worth the price tag. You hold the picture up to the light. This going right up on your wall when you get home. Having to quit orchestra and drama club has been tough. You don't see your friends nearly as much anymore, but focusing on schoolwork has paid off pretty well. It took some time to get into the swing of things, but you're gonna pass all your classes this year. Your homeroom teacher even told you how impressed she was. You gently place the picture in your bag and continue with Sadie. I was meaning to ask you. Alyssa and I are gonna stop by the new boba place down the street tonight. Do you wanna come? I would, but I have a doctor's appointment today. No rest for the wicked, as they say. Oh well. We can postpone it if you want. Oh no, you guys have fun. But just let me know what flavors they have. We can go some other time. Sadie smiles at you and nods. Lately you've had to pick up and choose between where you spend your energy. It's just another part of life that you've just had to adjust to. Hey, let's take a picture. Right now? No time like the present. You pull out your phone and open the front-facing camera. You and Sadie squeeze together and put on your biggest smiles. Smile! No. Are we actually gonna get a picture? Feeling aww. The camera shudders, freezing the moment in time. Despite everything, life has found a new version of normal for you. You'll look back on this moment when you need to remember how much love and support you have in your life. And you'll keep on smiling. Aww. Oh, that is so nice. Thank you for playing. This game was created by KJam, or Kiam, Kira Monique Bautista. Oh, built with a vision of it. Oh, that is so nice. I mean, that is so simplistic, but that is so nice at the same time. And that's it. That's the freaking story we get out of this very simplistic title card. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. Okay, but anyways, I'm not gonna be ranting on for too long at the end of this episode. I think I shared a lot of my thoughts throughout this. Maybe not as much near the end, but I could go on an entire tangent talking about different sort of subjects. And it's something that I want to devote like multiple entire videos to in the future. Just talking about mental disease and like actually like how to cope with different steps, how to like, for example, how to share the fact that you have a disease, how to talk to people about it, how to get your parents on board or get them to help you, how to like approach doctors, all sort of things. I want to get into it, I want to learn about it, and I want to share it with you guys. That's what I want. That's one of the things that drives me to like further into the future to actually become like a YouTuber, so I can share messages like this, because mental illness, as much as it sucks, is actually on the rise. Or maybe it's not just on the rise, but we're beginning to see more people stepping out of the dark and talking about it, which is really, really important. So it's time to tackle the issue, and I definitely want to be on the forefront when it comes to tackling it. But if I had to talk about this game specifically, then I think it was handled extremely well. It's probably the most realistic, the most down-to-earth, realistic description or visualization, or basically game that's made about like actually finding out about a mental illness and going through the whole process. But then again, it is based on what I'm almost 100% sure is a real story, because not only did they say it was kind of based on a real story, but a lot of the facts were very, very like a little weirdly realistic, like the way she was attached to the machines and how the whole like medical process went. They knew a little too much not to actually have gone through it. One of the people who shared the story, or who the story was originally about. So while it didn't have that crazy, beautiful, artistic rendition or something like that game you have missed messages, or other games I played in the past, like the Darkness Talk. I don't remember what that game's called, but the Darkness something. Like, it doesn't have the artistic push, it doesn't have the artistic thump that these games have. It doesn't hit you in the same way, but just the pure realism. And as a person who has gone through a journey like this, where you find out that you have like a disease or something that will affect you for maybe the rest of your life, I know what this is like, and that definitely hits home with the intended audience. So extremely good job on that. But anyways, I'm gonna be leaving off this episode here, because otherwise I'll be sitting here freaking ranting all day. I've already been recording for nearly 1.5 hours. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for sticking along with me this whole time. I don't know if I'm going to split this up in 2 episodes even, but still, thank you so much if you watched this entire thing. That's very cool of you to just sit there and listen to me basically voice act, and I appreciate it a ton. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.